So it's something we'll continue to monitor. Go ahead. Well, I was going to go through the front, but I've already come to you, so I should go to Saeed.
I'm sorry. Well,
go
it's
ahead.
Middle East specific.
Go
I'm
ahead.
happy to wait.
Go ahead. No, go ahead. Go ahead.
One, does the U.S. have any indications from its diplomatic conversations that Iran is rethinking any part of the need to retaliate for the strike on Haniyeh?
So two things to that. One, I'm not going to speak to our private diplomatic conversations. I'm certainly not going to speak to what Iran may or may not be planning, other than to say, as we've said for several days now, and it's been the focus of our diplomatic engagements, is we continue to make clear to Iran that they should not escalate this conflict, they should not take any further escalatory steps, that those steps are not in their interests, they're not in the interests of the wider region, and that is a point we will continue to impress in all of our diplomatic engagements in the region.
You've also stressed the need or the help that a ceasefire deal would provide in lowering tensions. Is it clear to the U.S. how persuasive the prospect of a ceasefire deal is to the Iranians? Is the appeal of a deal greater than the need to retaliate?
So, again, I don't want to speak for the Iranians or try to make an assessment about what is convincing to the Iranians or what is compelling to them or what's going to go into their mind when they make their decisions. I will say that there are two sides of this coin. On one side of the coin, yes, we believe that a ceasefire would go a long way towards alleviating tensions in the region. It would obviously have immediate benefits for the Palestinian people in Gaza. It would have immediate benefits for the hostages and their families. But we think it would allow us to make progress in the diplomatic endeavors we have been pursuing to bring calm along the Israel-Lebanon border, and it would allow us to ease broader regional tensions. On the other side of that coin, certainly any further escalation just makes all of the region's problems more difficult. And one of the problems that we're addressing is the conflict in Gaza and trying to reach a ceasefire. So it is true that anytime you have an increase in tensions, it makes all of our diplomatic efforts more difficult. So I would hope that that's something that Iran is paying attention to and something that they're cognizant of, and they wouldn't want to do anything to hurt prospects for a ceasefire. They wouldn't want to do anything to further raise regional tensions and raise the risk of this conflict spiraling out of control, but we can't speak for them.
You spoke yesterday about the need for an in-person negotiator to be designated by Hamas before ceasefire talks could be taken over the finish line. Until that person is designated or steps forward or is named, is the U.S. trying to sort of get Israel's side of the deal to a final place so that once there is a designation, all it takes is a signature?
So it's hard to say getting one side to the deal to a final place when it obviously is a negotiation and you can't get agreement from one party without the other. Let me say two things about it, though. Yes, we have been in contact with Israel about trying to get a deal finalized, and we have been in contact with the other two mediators, Egypt and Qatar, about how we would get, potential ways to get a deal finalized and how we might bridge the differences between the two parties. And the second thing I'll say is we continue to emphasize to the government of Israel, as we believe Egypt and Qatar are emphasizing to Hamas, that the onus is on them to agree to a ceasefire, that we have made great headway, but we need to finalize the agreement. We need to finalize it as soon as possible.
I have one more on Vienna, but we'll